by any means do it, go into it as great detail as the person that actually came to us with the strategy and had us build that into our software. And that was from Scott Nicholson. And there is several particular calls on our YouTube channel, specifically on this particular strategy. So I'm going to introduce it to you for those of you that aren't familiar with it. And then I would ask you to utilize the resources on our YouTube channel to further explore how you can utilize it with your realtor partners. Look at the scripting listen to the scripting that's used in it. There's another call that I'm going to reference as well, another type of presentation. It's how to help a realtor get a move-up listing. A realtor has a database of past clients. And what you want to do as a mortgage professional is help them utilize that database of existing clients that they have, help them generate business from their existing database, and of course, take you along for the ride, because you're going to serve as the financing to help that happen. So I'm going to explain the move up buyer strategy as well. It's another realtor presentation that you could utilize. And I'll reference this particular call here, How to Help a Realtor Get a Move-Up Listing by Danny Hirani. So you don't have to hear from me. You're actually hearing how mortgage professionals out in the field, out in the trenches, just like yourself, are utilizing it to become more effective with their realtor partners and generate more business. Another call that I'm going to reference, again, I'm going to use our YouTube channel here, is right here, the Paperless Open House with Nicole Solari. You can see that some of these, like her call has been viewed almost 5,000 times. And the way that you can leverage that particular call is that when she conducts an open house, she doesn't have the traditional paper flyers. She utilizes the digital open house flyer, which I'm going to show you how to build within Mortgage Coach. And the thought process behind that is that she wants to get as many leads for herself and her mortgage professional from the people cycling through the house as possible. And she shares a lot of great information. She's a top producing realtor up here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And top producing realtor, she opens up her playbook. And the way that you can leverage that particular call is not only to help yourself, but if you're meeting with realtor partners, you could take the ideas that she's got in that particular call and see if your realtor partner is utilizing it. And if they're not, again, bringing value to that particular realtor by sharing those ideas that a top producing realtor is using, as well as incorporating how you can use the Mortgage Coach with that presentation. So there's a lot of good content. And again, I'm going to be able to touch on these types of presentations and show you the nuts and bolts within Mortgage Coach, how to build them. But I would encourage you to leverage the people that are actually putting them in play. Get their scripting, get access to those calls, and utilize it to your benefit. Okay, so with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive in and show you the 3 presentations that are within Mortgage Coach that you can utilize, and then I'm going to walk you through how to build them. And they're pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Let's go ahead and start off with this particular presentation here. This is our move-up buyer presentation. And the way that you could utilize this particular presentation, again, is for a client that you have in your database. You might, look back and say, well, I funded this loan for this person 4 or 5 years ago. And, at that time, they were just starting a family and this was their first home. They may be looking to move up now. Maybe their lifestyle, or there's been some situation that's occurred in their life that requires them to have a lifestyle change. Kids, maybe they want to get to a different school district. They need a larger home. There's so many things that can happen in life that gives you the opportunity to paint the picture for them as to here's their current situation. Okay, and I'm highlighting this is the borrower's current situation, the value of their home in the current market, what their current interest rate is, what their current outgo is with their monthly payments. So here's the value, the current interest rate, and here's their existing payment on their current home. And then what you do is you paint the picture for them. Well, let's take a look now. The market's changed. You may be looking to have some type of change in lifestyle, which requires you to move up to a home that's greater in value. So you can see here, the value of the move-up property in this first product option is $50,000 greater. Hopefully, or potentially maybe interest rates are lower from when they acquired that loan that they currently have. And you see in this case, they can actually purchase a home that's worth $50,000 more in value and achieve getting a lower monthly payment by almost $100. What they're doing is they're taking the equity that they have in their existing loan or their existing home, selling that current home, using that equity to purchase the new home, the move up property. And how is that going to help your realtor partner? Why would a realtor want to give you access to their database of clients that might be a candidate for this? Well, that light bulb should be going off is because in order for that buyer or that person to succeed in having that change in lifestyle, they're going to have to sell that property and utilize that equity. So there's a listing opportunity for your realtor partner, right? Then they want to buy that move up property. So there's an opportunity for another commission for your realtor partner. So your realtor partner has the opportunity for 2 commissions, and you of course have the opportunity to provide the financing to make all this happen. So you get to be the quarterback of presenting this idea to your realtor partners. Great topic for the next time that you meet with realtors, lunch and learn or whatever the case is, have a presentation like this so that your audience can sit there and start thinking about, you've got a group of realtor professionals in your audience, get them thinking about what candidates within their database might be a good opportunity for them to introduce you to provide a move-up buyer analysis like this. And again, looking at the borrower's current situation and comparing it to different price points. If you take a look here, going up in value, $425,000, $75,000 greater than their current house. Slightly higher payment, but as you know, as people, their lifestyle changes, maybe their income's increasing, and what's an extra $60 if they can get a home that's maybe $75,000 more in value? What's it going to mean to them if they can get a 4th bedroom or a 3rd bathroom and they don't have to listen to their teenage daughters fighting over, access to the bathroom? Is that worth $60 a month? Maybe, right? You don't know unless you get out there and you get an opportunity to present this to your database and by getting access to your realtor partners database. And in that call that I referenced, Danny Hirani talks about the scripting that he uses to get access to realtors because they're going to be very protective of their database, right? Why should I share this information with you? So he talks about the scripting and how he gets them to see the value in it and allows them to get access to the database. So, and then again, you can see painting the picture here, an additional step, another, say, $100,000 in value. And what's the change? Well, about $250. That may be a very marginal change for the longer term goal. And one of the key areas that you might want to focus in as well, net worth in 30 years, because the value of the home, their move-up property, is going to appreciate even at a greater level than their existing home over that time horizon. So you can paint the picture utilizing your mortgage coach presentation to show them how that property is going to appreciate and how much more net worth through home ownership that they're going to have by moving up now while the opportunity is available for them. So a couple of strategies in here. And again, listen to the call, listen to the scripting that's in there. And I think it'll be very effective for you in helping you generate more business through your realtor partners. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in a link. So I'm going to go into our mortgage coach advice engine here, click on help, and I'm going to show you how you can do the data entry. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you access to a YouTube tutorial here to walk you through the steps of how to build a move-up buyer presentation. So this is a great resource for you. There's a lot of content in there so that if you're working on the weekend and you can't get in touch with our support team, either via email or chat, go to our knowledge center here, type in the topic, and then you can see that we get some FAQs pop up, and I'm going to take this link and I'm going to put it in the chat area for everybody here. So this first one is going to be move up buyer. I'll just put the title there for you. And then here's the link. I'm going to try and follow up as well with the links that I'm utilizing during this workshop and provide them to you folks in an email once I convert this call and add it to your playlist as well. So there's how you would build that presentation. It's very similar to almost the refinance that I showed you how to do. Very, very easy to do. Okay, our next presentation here. This one is going to be, I think I'm going to go to the seller buy down strategy first, and then I'll show you the digital open house flyer. So this is going to be the seller buy down one. And like I said, this is a tool, a strategy that you have within your mortgage coach account that gives your realtor another solution to moving a property that may be stagnant, maybe sitting on the market a little bit longer than was anticipated. And some of you might be saying, well, I'm in a really hot market. I don't know how this is going to play. I got multiple borrowers, multiple buyers putting in offers and everything. There's a variety of different ways that you could utilize this seller buy down strategy. You can also use it, and again, I'm going to go to the YouTube channel here. You could use it with your buyers as well, because the way that the strategy works, and I'm going to walk you through the math and show you how it works here. It allows a buyer to potentially have more purchasing power. So it can be used even in a market where there's multiple offers available. And one of the most recent calls that was just done with Scott Nicholson, I mean, he's taken this and created almost a whole business around this particular strategy. He has created a whole business around this particular strategy and how he's generating business through this particular strategy. So I'm only going to touch on it, be able to touch on it in the time that we have. So you're going to want to make sure that you access these calls on our YouTube channel to learn more about it, so that you can see how you can help grow your business utilizing this particular strategy. Let's walk you through the math so that you have an understanding of how it works. So this is the realtor facing seller buy down strategy. And I'm going to start off here in the first column. In this first column, it's representing what a potential home buyer can take advantage of, say with a traditional mortgage under the current market conditions. So in this example, this first product option, the list price is $400,000. The home buyer is going to put 10% down. Their loan amount's $360,000. Interest rate, I just used a figure of 4%. This is the monthly payments that they can expect to have. So this is their all-in payments, and of course, here's their cash to close. So this is, vanilla, I guess you could say. This is what they can expect to receive from pretty much any lender that they're going to do business with. Now, oftentimes, the buyer's going to go approach the seller and, hey, I want to try and get a price reduction from the seller. Let's go ahead and put our offer in at, say, $390,000. Let's see if we can get a 10% price reduction. If they're successful in doing that, what can they expect to achieve as far as their monthly payments? Well, again, utilizing the same interest rate, their new payment is going to be about $57, $58 less by getting that $10,000 price reduction. Now, the last two columns is kind of where I guess you could say that the strategy really comes into play here. So rather than utilize the $10,000 towards reducing the price of the home, what you're going to do is you're going to want to have the buyer and the buyer's agent write the offer so that they're going to utilize that $10,000 to do a rate reduction. So rather than taking $10,000 off the price of the home, have the seller contribute the $10,000 towards reducing the interest rate. And in this particular example, reduced it by 3/4 of a point at a cost of $10,000. And we'll walk you through the math. I don't want you to get hung up on the details because you're going to have to go to your rate sheet. You're going to have to take a look and see, what's the maximum discount that I could potentially get with the least amount of cost, right? So if you take a look, what is the net effect to the potential home buyer? Well, the home buyer is going to get a payment that's almost 3 times, a payment reduction that's almost 3 times greater than if the seller were to reduce the price by that $10,000. So that's where the strategy comes into play, and it can be utilized in a lot of different ways. So rather than having the seller take a hit on the price of the home, have them agree to reducing the interest rate by the funds that they were looking to potentially contribute, and not do the price reduction. So what's the effect? This fourth column illustrates that. So if you take a look, in order for that buyer to be able to achieve that same payment without reducing the interest rate, so for the buyer to get that same payment reduction without reducing the interest rate, in other words, the interest rate means 4%, in order for them to get that same payment reduction, the seller would have to be willing to reduce the price by not $10,000, but by $35,365. If you were selling a home, what would you rather do to have the buyer get that benefit of that lower monthly payment? Do you want to have $35,000 come out of your pocket, or do you want to have whatever the cost is, in this example, $10,000 to be able to come out of your pocket? So that's the strategy behind the seller buy down presentation. And again, there are presentations that are both borrower facing and realtor facing. So what Scott does is that he will go out and look for properties that have been on the market a longer than normal period of time, have had successive price reductions. Those are properties that your realtor partners or realtors that you may want to partner up with would be ideal candidates for this particular strategy. And going back to the YouTube channels, he conducts realtor lunch and learns with this particular strategy. He conducts lunch and learns, educating realtors as to how they can implement this particular strategy with particular properties. He does borrower facing presentations as well, showing them that how by reducing that interest rate, a potential home buyer may be able to actually have more purchasing power to be able to purchase a home that maybe they couldn't even entertain looking at. Maybe it was just completely out of the price point until they saw a presentation like this. So variety of different ways to utilize this particular strategy. And again, you don't have to hear it from me. Watch the calls if you haven't already done so on our YouTube channel regarding these particular strategies. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you how to utilize the digital open house flyer presentation. And that would be, this particular call here would be a good resource for what I'm going to share with you next. And within your Mortgage Coach advice engine, you could build these presentations. And I'm going to show you the steps, the data entry. I'm going to walk you through step by step. And with the flip of a button, you're going to be able to make your open house flyer presentation a seller buy down presentation as well. So flip of a button. So the two presentations are very, very similar to each other. You might have noticed this is the seller buy down. You have the different columns here. Well, here's your digital open house flyer presentation. They almost look identical to each other. The difference being is that with the digital open house flyer presentation, you're not restricted to showing just the one product option. You can have multiple, up to 4 product options appearing on your digital open house flyer presentation here. So I'm going to walk you through, we'll do a preview of this presentation real quick, and I'll share some ideas of how you can utilize it. But again, I want to show you some shortcuts to save you some time as to how to build these more effectively, because you get a call from your realtor partner, hey, I've got a listing I want you to do an open house flyer presentation on, and they're calling you on Thursday or Friday, and the open house is on the weekend. You don't want to sit there all day Friday afternoon building one of these. So I want to show you how to work smarter, not harder, so that you're able to build these presentations very quickly when your realtor partner gives you that call at the last second. Hopefully they're more effective and they plan with you more. You know, these are different strategies that you could share with your realtor partner. And recently, you know, going back to our YouTube channel here, and I actually saw Pat Casey. I think Pat sent out an email to everybody in regards to a recent call that our CEO, Dave Savage, did with Todd Duncan. And I don't know if you are familiar with who Todd Duncan is, but he's been a mortgage coach or a professional loan originator coach for 20 years or so. He hosts a couple annual events. One of the biggest events that he hosts, he has a whole academy. He hosts Sales Mastery every year. Anybody go to a Todd Duncan event? I'm just kind of curious. Anybody in the audience? Raise your hand if you've ever gone to a Todd Duncan event. See if we have anybody. There's Ryan has his hand up. There you go. Good. Okay, so there's a few of you. Some of you are familiar with who he is, but in that call, Todd gives you some amazing ideas that you could utilize to work with your realtor partners. So I'm going to find that call. Let me find that right now for you. And I'm going to place it in the chat area. You folks probably got the link to that from Pat Casey, but I just don't want you to miss that call, because the scripting is so good in that from Todd that, I mean, it should give you some huge ideas, and then how you can work in Mortgage Coach with what you're going to be doing with this. So I'm taking the link right now, and I'll just label it Todd Duncan, so you know what it is. So if you get a chance, watch the call. It's going to be worth your time. It's going to give you so many good ideas and strategies, and then you can see how you could bring Mortgage Coach into it. So there you go. I just didn't want you to miss that one. All right. So open house flyer, digital open house flyer. So if you take a look at it right off the bat, you can see it's a co-branded presentation. So it's not only going to have your information as the mortgage professional, but it's going to have your realtor partner's information. You're able to have a couple pictures of the property. You can see how they're displayed here. And then, of course, your financing options. Financing options, you're able to have up to 4 product options appear on your presentation. So, you know, depending upon the price point of that particular home, you're strategically going to choose the products that you think are the best fit for that particular price point. And then you're able to illustrate how the payment's broken down, including both, you know, the loan components, the PI, and then the monthly costs that are associated with that particular property option, and then the different amenities that that particular property has as well. Now, with each of these presentations, you can include a video message, just like your total cost analysis. You can include a video message with this. And one of the ways that are, just to give you an idea of some of the ways that mortgage professionals are utilizing this, I'm going to go to our webpage here, and I'm going to go to total cost analysis here. I'll share some pictures with you so that you can kind of visualize how you can implement this. So here's some examples of how mortgage professionals are having technology available at the open houses that they're doing. So it could be something as simple as having your laptop available on a countertop, maybe strategically placed by the food so that people are gonna notice it when they go grab all that free food. You can also take a look. I mean, it could be something as simple as a tablet, the laptop, or a little bit more robust. You know, if you have a tablet, there's these nice stands that are available that you can have. You know, that way your technology is protected and it's displayed real nicely. And it's a way to, you know, be able to have something available for somebody that they can walk up and start touching and, you know, feeling and clicking on, and then give you a way to approach them in a very non-confrontational way. So a lot of times, you know, people, when they go to an open house, they go through the front door and then they feel like they're being pounced on, either by the realtor or the mortgage professional that's in there right off the bat. So it gives you a way to kind of ease them into it. Now remember, these presentations can be shared. That's the key, is that they can be shared with anybody cycling through the house digitally. So whomever is at that house, you want to make sure that they understand and have something available. And remember our call, our mobile call. And if you weren't able to attend it, I'd encourage you to go back and watch the mobile call from your playlist, and you'll be able to see how you can utilize your mobile device and share the presentation directly from your mobile. So it could be, you know, you have something up, it catches their eye, whomever's at that open house, whether it's the realtor, yourself, or maybe an assistant, and the presentation can be shared digitally via your mobile device. So if you train your realtor partner or whomever's going to be there, you know, when you get somebody that wants a copy of that digital presentation, all you have to do is click on, and I'll show you real quick. Let me pull up the presentation here. And again, watch the mobile call that we did for you folks. It references and it walks you through step by step how to do this. Let me just pull it up here one last time. So it's important that you folks get the app downloaded to your mobile device. You'll simply log in. You'll click on the Mortgage Coach icon. You'll log in by clicking on the silhouette up there. Click on the sign in. Go to the client area, or excuse me, the partner area if it's a digital open house flyer. Have that presentation up and ready. So open house flyer. You might even have the live reporting up, ready to go if you want to walk somebody through the presentation, have them understand. No, I'm sorry, this one doesn't have pictures on it. Should have. But with an Android version, the share is right up here. With the Apple version, you just click on your virtual business card. You click on your virtual business card there, and it will bring up, and then you share the link. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a valid email address or a valid phone number, because you could text it. Remember, you could either text it or email it to whomever is cycling through that house. So that's how you share it digitally with them. And of course, when you shared it digitally with them, you confirm that they received it. You have them pull out their mobile device. They pull it up on their mobile device and show it to you before they leave the house, right? And then now you know that you have a valid email or phone number that you could follow up with subsequent presentations and your realtor and so forth. So great way to utilize the technology that you have access to. Another thing that I want to show you, this was pretty cool, I thought, is that this is how a mortgage professional in the Bay Area, he includes a video with his presentations, and I'll let you take a quick look at it here. I thought this was very creative from this mortgage professional.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well and you're enjoying your Sunday. I'm over here at 229 Wimbledon Court in San Ramon, and I wanted to give you a quick virtual tour of this home. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. It's beautiful, as you can see in the background, and someone's holding it open today from 1 to 4. And what's great about this house is if you're renting for $3,000 a month or less, this home is easily within your price range. The analysis right behind you will show you how you can purchase this home, and your net payment will actually be less than your rent payment. So swing by today between 1 and 4 and take a look. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well and you're enjoying your Sunday. I'm over here at 229 Wood.
I purposely let it go just that extra little bit because I wanted to see that you can actually have it on a loop feature. So you can have your video on the loop feature, and that's going to benefit people that are going through the house because not everybody's going to be coming in the house at the same point in time. And with the video being on a loop feature, it just keeps going, and they're going to be able to get the entire content of your video message as they go through the house. It's another way to engage them, have that video, you know, it's an eye catcher when somebody goes through, what's going on over here? What's this? You know, can I get a copy of that? And you might have noticed it's not an open house flyer. It's not a total cost analysis, but it's a rent versus own presentation. And this particular originator recognizes that in his particular market, what people are paying for rent is ridiculous and they should be a homeowner. So he chose to use the rent versus own presentation. So there you go, another example. Grab your realtor partner, get them in the video as well. You know, I realize that you're not going to be able to go to each and every one of your realtor partners' properties. But for those special ones, this could be a nice touch. For those ones that you're looking to get your foot in the door with, might be a great way to you know, engage them with a presentation like this. And then also remember with your mortgage coach presentations, and this is what I shared with you during our mobile call as well, is that you can include a message, a pre-recorded message that you have stored on your mobile device to any of your mortgage coach presentations. So if you have a standard message recorded on your video device, you can attach it to any open house flyer, anything that you want, put it on a loop cycle, and it'll be available there. So it's a way that you can, you know, almost have a commercial for yourself appearing on whatever type of presentation that you have available at that open house. So just a couple ideas to share with you. Don't forget about video, the power of video. Okay, so how do you build a digital open house flyer? So I'm going to actually walk you through the steps of how you build that presentation and share with you some shortcuts, because it's all about working smarter, not harder. Don't spend your whole Friday afternoon building an open house flyer presentation for your realtor partner. Excuse me. First one might take some time. But after that, you'll get the flow and you'll be able to build them much more quickly. So let me go ahead and open up this sample presentation, and I'm going to walk you through the data entry. I'm not going to actually do the data entry because I think you'll just get bored sitting there watching me. So with a borrower presentation, such as a rent versus own or total cost analysis presentation, you're focusing on the borrower's information. Well, now what we're doing is we're working in the partner area here. We're transitioning from the client area to the partner area, and we're building a presentation for our realtor partner. You just simply click on new partner. And just like building a presentation for a client, once you've built one presentation, you've created a folder within your mortgage coach database for that particular realtor partner. So I'm going to go ahead and click you through or walk you through this Amy Realtor. So once you click on new partner, you can go ahead and start entering the details for your realtor partner here. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory here. Now, I've often said, you know, you just want to put in the basic information in the and it's focused strictly on the red text or the red highlighted areas. With a realtor presentation, I would probably do a lot more data entry. You can get away with just the red highlighted fields, but I'd probably do a little bit more data entry. And I would definitely recommend utilizing the friendly name area. The friendly name area by putting in the property address, because you have to realize is that you're probably going to be building multiple presentations for the very same realtor partner. How are you going to be able to identify the different presentations for those different properties for that very same realtor partner? And that's where the friendly name comes in. You can see in this particular example, I have 15 Maple Drive as the property address. So keep that in mind. Arrowing forward, here are the details of the property: street address, city, state, zip. This is what's going to appear on the presentation. Arrowing forward again, you know, pretty much the standard information: asking price, square footage, number of beds, baths. You can even put in the resource that you're utilizing to access that information, whether you're going to Zillow, NMLS, or whatever. You could put the link in there if you'd like. Drawing your attention to the More Features button. This is where you can click on the default features that are available. Simply by putting a check mark in here, those will appear on the presentation. Now, if you have, or if your realtor wants you to emphasize particular special features, you have 4 fields that you could go ahead and do the special things that you really want to make stand out on the presentation. Some mortgage professionals, they have presentations that it's solely focusing on the financing options, not the features. If that's the case, if you don't want the features appearing on your presentation, there is a check mark, or there's a box, put a check mark in there, and then it's just going to be the financing options, not the features. Let's go ahead and move forward. This is where you would upload a picture of the home. You can upload multiple pictures. Only 2 are going to appear on the presentation though, so you could either rotate them or choose the ones that you want to have appearing on the presentation. And then this is something that you should all be very familiar with right now. This is how you provide the product options that will appear on the presentation, just like you would when you're working with the borrower. It's the exact same thing. And in this particular case, you can see that there's 4 options that are going to be provided for this digital open house flyer presentation. I'm going to click on the analysis tab here. Previously, I shared with you, use the analysis area to paint that picture for your borrower based upon, their particular goals. With the digital open house flyer, it's focused strictly on presenting net worth for that particular property. So illustrating how that property could potentially appreciate over time. And then moving forward, this is where you're going to enter your realtor's information. Address, company, all those different things, website, so forth. Pretty self-explanatory. Move forward here. Of course, their headshot and their logo, because as you've seen, it's a dual branded presentation, co-branded presentation. And then this is where, with the flip of a button, I'm going to keep it in the open house flyer position here, but with the flip of a button, you can take a previously built open house flyer presentation and turn it into a seller buy down. And I'll walk you through the seller buy down presentation. You may recall, I want to make sure that you understand how to do the data entry to achieve that math that I demonstrated in that seller buy down strategy. But you can see here, all 4 products are going to appear on the presentation. If you decide you don't want a particular product, remove the check mark, just as you would with the total cost analysis or rent versus own. Now moving forward, I'll draw your attention to one area that I often see people make a very common mistake. Where it says pricing label, you don't want to actually put in the actual purchase price here. You want to put in some type of a marketing pricing label so it appears on your presentation. So looking at that digital open house flyer, you can see right up here where it says asking price. These are like the marketing pricing labels or labels that you're putting on the presentation. And this is where you're going to be able to do that. You don't put the actual price in here. Remember, you did that back here when you're putting in the details of the property. Okay, let's go ahead and go forward. You could choose the images that you want to, if you've uploaded multiple images, you could choose the different images that you want to have appearing on the presentation. And then just like before, you deliver the presentation. I mean, it can be printed, it can be saved as a PDF, but ideally you're going to deliver that via email to people or text. And then what's going to happen is make sure that you put that check mark in there, because you're going to get an alert notification and you're going to know what type of activity am I getting on these digital open house flyers that I presented. And if you want to share that activity with your realtor partner, just put a check mark in here and they're also going to get those alert notifications. So just a way to let your realtor partner know, what type of activity is being generated by these particular marketing resources. Of course, protect yourself with the quote date, and then add that video to it. That way, they already start making that connection or forming that connection that you're the mortgage professional that's representing that property for financing options. So make sure that you include that video in there. All right, so let me walk you through the seller buy down now, because it's the same steps as the open house flyer presentation with one additional step here. So let me go to the seller buy down now. So I'm just going to flip the dial button from open house to seller buy down. Now, when I do that, remember the seller buy down presentation. Give you another look at it here. This is the one where we were illustrating that you're typically going to be able to, for every dollar that's invested in reducing the interest rate, you're going to get a 3 times return rather than a price reduction. So remember that 3-to-1 ratio. So how do we achieve that? Well, within the Mortgage Coach Advice Engine here, you choose one product that you want to illustrate that with. And then when you arrow forward, this is where you're going to enter the details of how they're going to achieve that particular rate reduction and what that means to the seller as far as the price reduction and so forth. So right up here at the top, how much is it going to cost to be able to achieve reducing the interest rate from 4% down to like 3.25% this time? And this was just a generic example. You, of course, you'd go to your rate sheet and see, what's the maximum discount that I can get with the least amount of cost. It's not always going to, you're going to be able to do this. So you've got the traditional rate here, and then what's the cost from the seller? Is it going to be 3 points to the seller? What's it going to cost the seller? Then you've got the change in the rate. So here's the rate after the buy down. And then you can also put in the percent of income to qualify. That's where that purchasing power comes into play, because if you have a borrower that is only going to be able to qualify for a certain price point, they're going to be maxed out. Well, by reducing the interest rate, they may be able to have greater purchasing power. So that's where you can start to see the buyer facing value with this particular strategy. And then you have the different columns. You could change these names if you wish to, but they're defaulted. They're put in there for you, as you've seen on the presentation. So I've talked now for, you folks have watched, I've talked now for about 45 minutes or so. Do you folks have any questions about the strategies that I've shared with you? Do you know how to get more information about the strategies? Like I said, I can only touch on these and share with you the nuts and bolts. I would encourage you to go to our website, look at these playlists that are set up, these calls that are set up for you, and I referenced 3 particular ones. I'm going to put the digital open house flyer call in here. Let me share that link. So this is digital. I'll put just Nicole Solari on this one. While I'm doing this, if you folks have any questions, now is the time to please ask. So there's Nicole Solari. That's in referencing the open house. I put the move up buyer in there, and then I mean, there's so many different calls on the seller buy down strategy. I think they're not. Some of them are very, very short, so you're not going to invest a lot of time, and you're going to get value for the time that you invested. So I'll let you go ahead, because there's so many different ones that that you can click on and learn more. There's a whole playbook about that. And if you go to our Facebook group and you simply type in seller buy down, you can see the activity with it and different posts and so forth about how it's being utilized. And there's success stories about it, strategies. There's a lot of content on there and examples of it. So you don't have to, again, take my word. look from the professionals that are within the community that are utilizing it. All right, well, we are just about 10 minutes before the top of the hour, and it looks like I don't have any questions. I'm surprised by that, actually. Well, if you do have some questions, you know how to get in touch with me. My email address is Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, @mortgagecoach.com. You, of course, know that to get the fastest answers to any type of questions that you may have, reach out to our support team. You know that you could reach out to them via email. That email address is support@mortgagecoach.com. And just keep in mind their business hours, Monday through Friday, from 7 to 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can also contact them via chat by clicking on the little blue bubble down there in the bottom right-hand corner. And then if it's after hours, as I demonstrated, just click on the help button here and type in the topic that you're looking for more information on. That way you can get a quick YouTube tutorial on how to do that particular topic. Now, as I mentioned, this is our last call as far as our launch series goes. We'll be working with your management team and looking for additional training opportunities as they come up. You can always reach out to your management team. You know, I'd like to get more training on this or that. You know, we're looking, as I said, forward to this relationship with you at Fulton, dedicated to your success. And so don't hesitate to speak up if you need some help. The other thing that I wanted to point out from our website, if you want to just get more training, and you have some available time, well, we actually have, let me go to our, this is mortgagecoach.com. I'm clicking on connect, I'm going to calendar. On our calendar section here, it shows you, we have training opportunities for you almost on a daily basis. So every Wednesday we have our mobile mastermind call, just like the mobile call that you folks had. So if you need some more help in utilizing your mobile device, sign up for one of these. If you want to interact with a live trainer, every Thursday we have a QA training session. These are all Pacific Daylight Time. This is at 9 a.m. Need to go back and get a refresher. You know, how do I use Mortgage Coach? You know, step one, here's an intro to Mortgage Coach every Monday at 9 a.m. So the resources are there for you. You just have to, you know, step up and take advantage of the opportunities so that you can utilize this technology, serve your clients in a different way, and help you with your conversions. So with that, folks, I will say goodbye to you. Don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great remainder of the week. And I'm going to upload this call to your playlist, and I'll try and include those links as well. Have a great afternoon, folks. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.